Hey everyone, welcome to episode 14. I'm Nethercloud, and there's a heck of a lot more where that came from, so let's keep this time lapse rolling. And that, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, is why this video has taken me so long to make. Originally, I was planning on doing a segment on the walls, but once they were built, I became quite obsessed with finishing the whole project, and I just couldn't stop myself. And I think you'll agree it was worth putting the time in. So now that we've gotten a chance for you guys to check it out with shaders, let's take you on a little bit of a tour. There are several prominent features in this build that we're going to go over. The first of which that I think that jumps out at most people are the crying obsidian stalactites and stalagmites. The amount of crying obsidian we used to make these is pretty staggering, and we had to build a massive farm for gold and piglin bartering, which we did in our last episode in order to accomplish this. They are solid. They were built from the inside out, so we didn't even cheat and build them out of dirt and then put blocks around them. So yeah, it was quite the grind to get everything we needed, but it came out looking great. I'd say the only grind that really rivaled it is the grind for the glass on the bottom here. This is about 150 to 160,000 glass to get this fog effect going here. We went all the way from bedrock to lava level, which is 32, and it took a lot of time to grind because we were in the process of changing out our fuel system for our smelter, so most of this was actually traded for with villagers. So yeah, you could imagine I want a larger villager trading hall now. And we even got a little 117, 118 action going on with the candles. We didn't bring too much of anything else in here from those updates since this build was planned around when 116 released, at least loosely. So yeah, it's been like 2 years of building. This is my first mega build and my first real survival world, so it's been a big one, and I'm very excited. Now you'll also see the tunnels use quite a bit of crying obsidian, because where it hits wall, we use crying obsidian, and where it opens to the nether, we use glass. We wanted to kind of keep this theme running because that's what we did with the main room with the glass walls. The idea being that we want to incorporate the natural generation. So it will limit us in the sense that when we're flying down these hallways, we're not going to want to, like, go over here and just dismantle this whole area, because then it wouldn't be a good view from the hallway. But I think it'll look really good and makes it a very immersive experience. This hole from last time is centered around 00, much like this four-way portal over here, and we don't have a build on the other side. You will notice if we go into free camera mode that it's hollow, and beneath is a stack of gold. That will eventually be a hex beacon, so that we have all the beacon effects for this world, but I haven't made a wither skeleton farm, and that's a lot of work, so I wanted the episode to come out. So here it is out with no beacons. Yes. Moving right along. The idea being that we're going to create a temple on the other side of this at 00, which pops out into a frozen wasteland with a four-way river. So it's going to be an interesting build. And the lore is going to be that your characters or your people or whatever it is have to make a pilgrimage in the overworld to 00 to talk to the temple adepts or whoever would be in charge of making decisions, and they'd link you up with a portal like this one, which leads to our main base, which is not at 00, but it's pretty close by. And if they approve your portal, like they did ours, of course, because frankly we are the council, then you get a portal. And if it's close, it'll be somewhere in this room, and if it's far away, it'll be down one of the tunnels. I wanted to do a little bit of world building, so in addition to putting all these candles up just for light, the sconces and the banners are from different parts of the build, as well as these fire pit things that are hanging. What I did is I went up and looked around at the builds on the top and pulled some of these ideas, as well as over in the overworld where our iron farm is for the banners. So it kind of links everything together. Since the hub is the central part of our world, it also would have bits and pieces from the other parts of our world in it. And we may add some of those details from farms and villages that we add as we expand the world and add to our lore. But for now, I think we did a really great job. There's obviously some little details that may or may not get added, as well as like maybe do some work outside the glass so our view's a little nicer. But all of that will come with time, as well as extending the tunnels. For now, we need to talk about how we're going to do the rest of this episode, because this is an epic finish. What are we doing from here? The answer is, we're going to go over our next mega build, and now don't get too excited. We're not racing through it again. We're not. I swear. We are going to talk about plans so we can get a little excited for the future. And then I've got a little treat for you for the last segment after that. So let's jump over to the site of our next mega build and talk about future plans. The future can appear vast and daunting, especially when looking out over an endless ocean. But this ocean isn't going to be here for very long. Like many a Minecrafter that has come before me, I plan on draining a large area. We're going to make the perimeter about double the size of our Netherhub perimeter, and once we've drained the water, we're going to continue by digging all the way down to bedrock. These chunks have been loaded into 118, so below 0 we have all of the new terrain generation. So we have deep slate, dripstone, probably some amethyst geodes, and all the other stuff that you get in the subterranean 117 and 118 content. We'll have to go a bit further out in the world or to another section of it for the 119 blocks that we need, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. We've got a lot of time, and I have a lot of patience because this build is going to take a while and is going to be worth it, just like the Netherhub. We spent a lot of time over there, so it's going to be great to catch up with all the new blocks. We're going to title this build Project Darkwater, and it's fitting that the sun is setting as we're discussing it, because look at how beautiful, but also kind of eerie it is out here. We're going to capture this by building an homage to a cartoon from the 90s called The Pirates of Darkwater. That's where we're going to get the name Project Darkwater, and we're going to loosely base it on the concept of that living water that wants to consume all life. We may incorporate some of the other elements. I may even go back and watch some of the series to get some inspiration. But if you guys have any ideas, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Whether you've seen the show or you're just thinking about what I just said, I'm always interested in hearing what you got to say. And we're going to leave it there with a beautiful sunset and hop over to that treat I was telling you about because I don't want to get too bogged down with details at the moment. The detail portion of this episode is going to take place back here, in the overworld. You'll notice that we're standing in front of the market stall from last episode, and I'm not going to talk about path blocks today. We really can't talk about path blocks until we get a better sense of how we're going to lay this area out, but you will notice that I haven't completed these other market stalls. As I said in the beginning of the episode, I really just kind of tunnel visioned on getting the Netherhub done, and sorry. Not sorry. I'm very happy with the way I spent my time. But now that it's done, we do have some time to get onto other projects, like putting up these market stalls and then laying out this village and other stuff, as well as some of the other projects around the world. So I thought today would be a great time to do something new with you guys. And that is going to be a Building with Nethercloud segment. Let's not call it that, but yeah, we're going to do like a little build segment here. A couple of viewers have expressed interest in wanting to see how I do my process of creating things, so I thought it would be good to start small and do the market stalls. I can't guarantee this is going to become a regular thing, but we'll see how it goes, and if it works, we'll do some more of it. The first step in any project that you're working on is to get an idea of what you need. And in my world, I definitely set my storage room up so that I can kind of just go shopping. So I'm going to take a look around here and okay, so we're using dark oak. We're probably not going to be using any of the iron bars or blackstone over here because these are going to be freestanding tent-like structures. There may be some buildings and stuff behind it that they're up against, but we're going to put those in later. So if we have to, we'll make adjustments. On these stalls, we continued with the dark oak. We threw in some spruce trap doors, some invisible item frames, barrels, chests, lamps, and of course we need wool. Now I think we're going to use full blocks over here because we get a little bit more versatility, and I might even change a couple of these or all of these to full blocks over here, just because I have a few ideas I want to play with. But now that we've decided what we're doing, where we're doing it, and kind of gotten a general idea of what kind of blocks we need, it's time to go shopping in the storage area. Anybody who's been following me knows that I'm very proud of my storage system. I know that the redstone on the back end could probably be made more efficient, but this is super functional. We've got bulk storage on this side, and we've got categorized storage on this side. We're going to grab a couple of shulker boxes. I already grabbed them, actually. And we're going to stick our helmet back on just so, you know, we're operating safe in a construction zone. No, but next step is very simple. We're just going to go down these rows and pick a few things to bring up to work with. We're going to grab the materials we need and maybe a few things that we think we could sell at the stall. And there's basically what we need to get this job done. I'm probably forgetting a few things, but we're doing this right over our main storage area, so that doesn't really matter. Before we get mobbed by things, let's get a little work area set up here. So right off the bat, we've got some decisions to make. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I didn't even bring... That's fine. Everything is fine. I just grabbed the stacks of wood for ease, but I probably should have grabbed some sticks because we are going to be making fence posts. A little bit wasteful to be making sticks out of dark oak, but whatever, it is what it is. We're going to grab some of these guys here, and we got to decide first how tall we're going to go. And I think... I think it's going to be 3. That puts us up at the same level as this. And I don't think we need to go any higher than that. We're going to try and keep these reasonably small. Now, I'd like to get a middle pole as well. Kind of a thing that points, that goes a little higher. So maybe we'll go to the center here, so 5. And I did check this earlier to make sure that it was an odd number. So 1, 2, 3. That should be the center. And we're going to go up 5 on this one. And that kind of gives us our starting point. So we can now kind of fill out from the top down or the bottom up how we want the wool to lay. And I think for this one, we went purple and red over here, so let's not go with the same colors. Let me think. I'm thinking white and blue looks pretty good, especially right next to the fountain. So let's go with that. And it's really arbitrary. Like, you can kind of just put whatever you want wherever you want, you know? There's no rules to it. It's just what you think will look good. Now, let's come back and look at it. It looks very square. I did take these corners off, but we're going to have to do little bits to make this look not so basic. What else do we need up here? We're going to need a few barrels. I like the barrels. Ooh, rainstorm. I like the barrels on the corners. I think it makes sense. It creates... Ooh, but not at that angle. We're not going to do a barrel in the center because that's just for the central support. And these are going to create the border between the inside and outside of the tent. On this one, I think we're going to do more closed in like this, and we're going to make it another food vendor. We're going to make this a fish vendor. So at its most basic form, there we are. We could easily just stop here. But like I said, you know, as things hit you, you kind of want to do them. So here's my thought. I have a box in here that's got item frames. So let's grab the item frame box. And let's grab the fish. It's not important to do things in any particular order. You just got to do them, you know, in a way that makes sense for you. I'm not loving any of the techniques to attach the fish so it looks like they're hanging. I think the one that I liked the most is when we had them over here, because it kind of looks like they're hanging all the way from the top, but even that doesn't look so great, and we're going to be hanging banners along there. So let's do the banners, and let's think about other ways we can get that effect or similar effects, and we'll go from there. The banners I'm absolutely loving. That was a great idea. Kind of like to be able to incorporate that over here, but I think I'm going to leave these a little bit different, and we'll make some decisions later on. I'd like to get some of the hanging fish because I feel like that's a good way to do it, but I just can't think of a way to pull it off right now. And the great thing about your worlds is you don't have to pull everything off right away. You can add to things later, and I think this is a good spot to call it for the segment here. I think you guys get an idea of how my brain works. It's a little scattered, but it's a pretty standard process. Look at where you're at, grab things that are appropriate, throw it up, and see what happens, then make changes. I know this is not my standard segment, and in contrast to the rest of the video, this is quite improvised. So if you guys liked it, please let me know. If you didn't like it, also please let me know. I am loving that this is starting to have a little bit of a walkway through here. I think we're headed in the right direction, and we'll keep growing with it. I'm going to call it there for the episode. Hopefully, if you guys liked and enjoyed this, you have liked and subscribed to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you have. I'm trying to release content more often, and once I get healed from my next surgery, you bet your butt it's going to be coming at you hard and fast. So be well, have a wonderful evening or day or whatever time it is where you're at, and I will see you guys in